Our big project for this summer was installing the kitchen and the new concrete countertops. We got these old cupboards from a house that was being torn down in our neighborhood. They were relatively new. I think they're from the 80s, and there was just enough to do what we need to do. Some of them were these really high cabinets, which I needed to cut down to make more counter height. This also meant some reinforcing to make them work in that new size. Of course, that also meant that I needed to cut down the cabinet doors to fit the new size cabinets. I also used some of the cabinet doors that I didn't need for this project to make small cabinets to go up beside the uppers. You can see the hole left by the hinge that was on this door, but you won't see that when it's installed because it'll be up against the side of the next cabinet. I had more than enough hinges to use for all the cabinets. If you've been following along on our build so far, you know it's quite an effort to get the materials from our house to the lake and up the hill to the cabin. First thing we did was a dry fit just to see if all the cabinets were going to fit as measured. This cabinet was designed for a little card index that I got from my library that was closing down. It holds a lot of little small things.
Here in the Canadian Shield, there's a lot of granite and quartz, so I thought it'd be cool to use some of this in our countertops.
I wanted to mix the quartz into the concrete as we were laying it, so I broke it up into smaller pieces so that I could scatter it on the concrete. I broke the quartz up into different sized pieces, using the larger ones in the concrete itself and sprinkling the smaller stuff on top. My plan originally was to use this galvanized edging just as a mold for the concrete and remove it later. But after we were done, I thought it looked so good with all the other kind of silver metal elements in the kitchen that we left it. I used some scrap 2x2 lumber to make a mold for where the sink will go.
Action.
I taped and caulked all of the cracks and crevices to keep the concrete from flowing where I didn't want it to. I had some of this 2x2 reinforcing wire left over from our screen porch build. You can see that in the link here. It works perfectly as it was intended to, as reinforcing for the concrete. I put screws in and wired the reinforcing so it would stay in the middle of the concrete pour. This is just standard $5 a bag Sackcrete. I did my best while floating this concrete to get the larger aggregate to settle down towards the bottom. You do have a fair bit of working time to keep playing around with it and get a nice smooth surface. This project took 8 bags of Sackcrete for a total cost of about $50. Once the concrete had set a little bit, I started adding the quartz that I had gathered earlier, spreading it evenly over the surface. Then I used the trowel to just push it down in. Then I sprinkled some of the smaller quartz dust on top. Once the concrete had set, I could remove the forms. Then came the sanding. This was kind of a horrible experience, but using a power sander and some hand sanding, we were able to get it to quite a smooth surface. Then we applied a couple of coats of concrete sealer. As you can see here, the quartz gives a little sparkly appearance to the top. Here you can see the steel edging that we left on. I think it looks really good because it matches the handles, and the upper cabinets have a bit of that silver trim as well. I made this video longer than our normal ones, and I'd love to hear what you think about that in the comments. And if you have a second, please tell your friends and give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time on Ontario Lakeside. Bye.